Libra Rising, welcome here to Soul Passages Astrology. My name is Georgia Dempsey and I am your astrologer, and I'm so glad you stopped by here for your March 8th eclipse report. Eclipses are really potent times in our lives, and we have one coming the evening of March 8th into March 9th, and these events tend to rock our world in a really big way. But I don't want you to focus on just those couple of days, because these are such potent cosmological times that events can come in up to 2 weeks before or even 2 weeks after the actual eclipse days. So, you know, it's going to be a little bit of a range of time. But whatever shakes out, it is going to impact your world for 6 months to possibly a year following. So it's a pretty big event. So one of the true joys of astrology is that you can see what the energies are afoot and then do your best to harness them so that they work out in your favor. And for you, Libra Rising, what I see is a true need for you to heal yourself, mind, body, and spirit this eclipse season. That would be one great way for you to handle the energies coming in. Another way would be for you to find the best way for you to be of service to the world. Between those two things, if you focused on that, you would really have an awesome eclipse season. And, you know, sometimes we don't have control of everything that comes into our lives, but we do have control over how we react to events. And there is always a learning curve with such things. And with the south node of the moon involved in this eclipse, it is as if other people are delivering the events and the information and the issues that are rocking our world. But we can always learn how to surf, am I right? I have learned how to surf in my own life, so I know that it is possible. So let's take a look, first of all, what that 6th house means, because this is where a lot of the eclipse action is happening for you. Well, first of all, it's a Piscean eclipse, so everything is in Pisces, and the 6th house has everything to do with mind, body, and spirit, and health in general. And I would say for a lot of you, it's integrating that feeling of mind, body, and spirit, and starting some health practices that are really going to set you off on a very good path, whether you've had some sort of health crisis or you're simply just trying to avoid one. This is a perfect time for you to start doing things that make you feel whole and happy as a person. So things like Tai Chi, meditation, gardening, yoga, just appreciating things that come into your everyday life, the simple things, a wonderful cup of green tea, the fact that your cat is on your lap purring, you know, appreciating the daily events of your life and the magic of an ordinary moment. All of these things are very potent for you this eclipse season. And it is time for you to, you know, think about what kind of heartfelt talks you might need to have with other people in your life. I say that because you've got Mercury conjunct Neptune in that 6th house. So I think sometimes we get sick when we're out of kilter with other people in our world. And sometimes the best thing we can do to get well is to forgive. And we don't forgive for them, right? Though it helps. We forgive for ourselves, because being mad at somebody else is like swallowing poison and hoping the other person will die. And it just doesn't work that way. So forgiving can be a huge thing. So with Mercury conjunct Neptune, it's a good time to have those heartfelt talks. Now, if you are facing some kind of illness, your doctors may be having a hard time figuring out exactly what's going on. because Neptune brings in a sense of nebulousness and uncertainty and fogginess and hard to figure out. And all I can say to you, there's still blessings in you learning what you can about being well. And you've got Saturn in your third house, and it's begging you to get serious and get real and start learning stuff. So if it's a health issue, you need to learn as much as you can about your own well-being. And that can include everything from, proper nutrition. I know I've done a raw food diet for many, many years. Maybe macrobiotics works for you. You're going to have to investigate what seems best. So getting that down, getting an exercise routine down, and then start bringing in, practices that can help you with all those emotional waters I see in the 6th house. So maybe that's tapping to release emotional energy, or deep meditation, or with the moon involved in the eclipse, maybe you have old habit patterns, or emotional upsets, or things from the past, or old scripts that you need to let go of. So hypnosis might be in order, something that can help you to set new seeds for a healthier way of being. So anyhow, this is just some of the energy I see pouring out of here. We also have Ceres, a dwarf planet, also in Pisces in the eclipse, and that's all about nurturing thyself. And with Ceres, it does want you to get serious about diet. It wants you to figure out what works, that you can eat, what you can't. For some people, you may be having problems with certain grains in your diet. I would certainly look into that if that's indicated. Some people with Ceres on the midheaven have celiac disease, so you could be having trouble assimilating grains or other foods, some allergies. For example, this is a time for you to figure that out. With the Sun conjunct Chiron in the 6th house, it's a time for you to recognize yourself as soul, right? And to get in touch with who you really are. So I think a lot of times we don't even recognize ourselves for who we are. It's kind of like Chiron, the wounded healer. He was half man, half beast. He got shot in the leg by a poisoned arrow, and though he was not able to heal himself, he went on a healing journey that lasted his whole life. And in the process of that, he healed many people. But what I've often wondered was, did he recognize the split that he had in his own nature? Did he see the lower half, or the more animal nature? And then did he see the higher half, which was him shooting the arrows of truth into the sky? I don't know if he recognized the rift within himself, but sometimes we have rifts within our own being. I have seen people with charts where they don't have very much water in their charts, and they don't know how to deal with things on an emotional level at all. Okay, so that's kind of a rift that has to somehow be overcome. Or other people, still haven't recognized themselves as soul yet. And so practices that can help you to bring all of the things together, mind, body, and spirit, are going to be very healing for you. So the Sun conjunct Chiron message is recognize yourself as soul. And since this is also the house of work and service, if you are somehow feeling wounded in this area, the question is who are you meant to be? What work are you meant to do in the world that will make you feel like you're being of service to everybody? Okay, because there's a strong desire with all this energy in the 6th house to be of service to the world. But if you haven't figured out who you are meant to be, how can you give your best to the world? It's kind of like having your light under a bushel barrel. And we want that light to come out and shine. So you have to get in touch with who you are, and with the square down to Saturn in the 3rd house, maybe to be that person that you're meant to be, that may require some additional education. It may require taking some classes. It may require you rewiring your brain and how you think and communicate with people. These are some of the challenges that you could be facing right now. And even also, lessons that you're learning about communication. I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of instances, like we all have, where communications just go awry, and upsetting communications can, imbalance your health, especially your emotional health. And so here are some of the challenges of that Saturn up to the 6th house. Now, with the moon involved, again, emotional reactions, gut reactions, habit patterns. I also think of hypnosis here because I am a healer. And it makes me think that, can you get over old issues by removing the critical mind and planting suggestions for healthier patterns. I'm also very interested in past life regression. And I've read many volumes of books about people who went backwards in time to other lives, healed unresolved issues of the past lives, and those actions improved their current health. So if you start to truly recognize yourself as soul and you think of where you've been, well, you've probably been a lot of places in the thousands of years, and you've probably been up against a lot of stuff. And some of the wonderful stuff we carry forward, and that makes us strong and wonderful and brilliant and all of the good things that we love about ourselves. And some of the lives we've had have just been plain old hard. And we faced really big things in those lives. And we were injured, and we, had all kinds of stuff happen. And some of those issues, by healing them, might improve her health today. So that's something to consider about with the moon conjunct Chiron. So I see just, a big need to work on mind-body-spirit connection and to think about how our thinking patterns might affect our health. And I would encourage you, if you're facing a health crisis, read the book Molecules of Emotion. Brilliant book. Anything by Deepak Chopra regarding health. Read those books. Read them all. They're all good. And also to really develop a spiritual practice. And I say that because you've got Jupiter in the North Node in the 12th house. And this is where true blessings lie right now. It is for you to get in touch with yourself as a spiritual being. And quiet places where you can quiet your mind. These are all highlighted. Take some nice walks in the woods. Go sit by a beach where you can just hear the waves roll in. Visit an ashram and stay for a couple weeks. Go to a monastery. Take some meditation classes. Ratnaling here in California, absolutely wonderful. Some of these places where you can go and quiet your mind and get in touch with who you really are. These are really called for at this time. And again, with Jupiter in the 12th house, digging deep into the subconscious. Extremely powerful right now. And if you start having dreams at this time, I would write them down. I would draw them out. I would start to decode the symbolism and the messages of them. And that could also be some of the squares to Saturn is trying to figure out the truth of the information that's coming in and understanding the symbology and getting down to what those dreams really mean. And I'm a big dreamer. I have Neptune and Scorpio in the 12th house. I mine my dreams for information all the time. And I've done it long enough that I now understand what some of the symbols for me mean. If you're not used to this, read books by Robert Moss. All of them. Read all of them. There's other ones out there too, but he's great. Right now, really getting in touch with how you can be of service to the world and how you can recognize yourself as a spiritual being are some of your greatest strengths. And your challenge is to work on what it is you need to learn to get there. So, there are a million great spiritual books out there. There are classes you can take. There are workshops that you can take. If you're having a healing crisis but you don't know anything about health, all I can say is I've done it by the bootstraps, baby, and you can do it. And Auntie Google is there to help you, and there are a lot of great people who have written books. There are nutritionists, naturopathic doctors, all sorts of people who can provide really good information for you to head towards wholeness and wellness and happiness. All right, my friends. Well, I hope you are doing well. If you find you need help during this eclipse season, feel free to give me a call. I am running my special of $50 an hour for 1 hour reading. And my contact information is at the front of the video, so give me a call if you need some help. And please let me know if this video helped you in your life, if the forecast seemed true for you. I mean, this is a general trends forecast. You guys all have things in different places, but it should hopefully ring true for a lot of you. But I'd like to hear how it sounds, if it made sense, if it helped you in your world. And if it did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Peace, blessings, and namaste, my dear Libra Rising.